In the meantime, we turn to this for the moment. New controversy flaring up in the Hillary Clinton email situation. This time, it's the FBI, the country's top law enforcement agency, according to this report, is refusing to comply with a federal judge's order to talk to the State Department about Clinton's private email server. In fact, the FBI won't even confirm that they are doing an investigation at this point, writing a letter, quote, At this time, consistent with long-standing Department of Justice and FBI policy, we can neither confirm nor deny the existence of any ongoing investigation, nor are we in a position to provide additional information at this time. In other words, we're not telling you anything at this moment. John Bolton joins me now, former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Senior Fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, and a Fox News contributor. So good morning, Ambassador. Good to have you here.
Good morning.
You heard the headline on this. The FBI refuses to cooperate in the Hillary Clinton email probe. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's a mischaracterization. The FBI is not defying a court order, at least not yet. It's responding to a request by the court. And I think what it signifies is that they are further and further into a potential criminal investigation than has been reported publicly otherwise. They knew this letter would be public, and they were very, very careful not to say anything one way or the other that could give people an impression as to how far along they were. But make no mistake, I think what this indicates is that they are preparing to go to a grand jury. I think, in fact, this implicates what's known as Rule 6E of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, where you don't divulge grand jury information. Now, the way out of this is pretty straightforward. I think the judge ought to have a closed session with the Justice Department and the FBI and say, I want to know what's going on here.
Interesting. So you feel that this indicates that they are keeping everything tight-lipped because they are pursuing this investigation. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of political ramifications and discussions about whether or not the Department of Justice would ever press to, make Hillary Clinton's folks produce that server or reveal anything beyond what they want to reveal. And in order to do that, you need to get into that server and you need to figure out what's on there. Do you believe the Department of Justice is willing to go that far?
Well, I think that what you have right now is a clash between two potential litigations. Number one, what's before the judge is a request to enforce the Freedom of Information Act requirements and to find out whether that server contains documents in electronic form that are properly State Department documents that are properly disclosed under the Freedom of Information Act. The FBI, if it's into or very close to a criminal investigation, obviously doesn't want all that out. And that's going to have to be sorted out first within the Department of Justice, and they need to come to a clear position on it. People should remember the FBI is part of the Department of Justice and ultimately reports to the Attorney General. So Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, is going to have to make a decision here, I think, fairly soon.
I mean, for the FBI, the ultimate legal decision that they need to come to is whether or not any information that was on that server was exposed inappropriately. Any clandestine information, any classified information, whether she put it in a position that made it vulnerable. That's really their only concern and issue here, correct?
Well, it's whether a law has been violated. Under the Espionage Act, gross negligence in handling classified information is a criminal violation. There's been, frankly, too much public comment by Justice, the State Department, sundry other government officials. But let's be clear, the FBI doesn't have a general hunting license to interest itself in classified information. To the extent it's investigating anything here, it's investigating possible violations of federal law that have criminal implications. That's why it's being so careful in this letter we're talking about not to tip its hand in a public way.
Yeah. Well, James Comey's given no indication that he will do anything other than, what he believes is right so far. So we'll see where this goes. Ambassador Bolton, thank you very much.
Thank you, Martha.